Ladies and gentlemen, here is your G Fuel key player matchup for the rematch between our Stage 1 finalists, Octane and Zero. Octane has been the MVP so far in Stage 2 for LG, especially when you look at the performance he put up at Anaheim. On the other side of things, though, Zero hasn't been his true self so far from what we've seen from Splyce in Stage 2. Those numbers far different from the MVP performance he had back at the Stage 1 playoffs. We'll see if he can come back into form here, because we know he needs to up against this dominant LG squad. They're regarded as the two best teams in competitive Call of Duty. This has been your G Fuel key player matchup.
I think for me, the MVP this year has to be Octane.
Octane, at least in recent events.
Probably say Octane.
It's got to be Octane.
I'd say Octane.
The MVP of IW is probably Zero.
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 Zero from Splyce.
I think Zero is probably a close second, but I think Octane is just a little bit more consistent.
I never think I'm the best in the game or like better than anyone, because in theory, like, you're only as good as your team. If I'm dropping 40 kills and we're still losing, then I'm doing something wrong. That's how my mindset is. If your teammates are being aggressive, you can sit back and watch over them and just pick off the kills that they don't. Like, that's what makes his team and my team so good. We have like the three, let's say, dirty players, and then the two MP4 players just sticking behind and picking up the leftovers. That's why it seems like we drop the most kills, but it's teammates that help.
His playstyle isn't like something that I'm used to personally. The combination of all these players on the team, the veteran leadership of Jared and Mad Cat, and then mixed in with him, I think that they really molded him into an excellent player, the same way Nick and Jerry did for me. So when we go head to head, he has a great shot. I think he's probably on par with me. So the matchups are pretty crazy. I'm happy because I lived up to my own expectations of my performance this year, but I don't really think it stops with me being in contention with other players. I want to be the player. When people get, ask the question, who's MVP for this year? I don't want there to be a conversation. I want it to be me.
My strategy for a 1v1 is I'm going to try and play a bit quick. I feel like I'm coming out on top just because I feel like Octane's going to play scared against me.
I don't really care who I'm playing against, to be honest. If it doesn't, it honestly doesn't. It could be my mom. I don't care who it would be. I don't care who I play against. It doesn't matter.
Here we go. It's a rematch of our Stage 1 final, a rematch from the Anaheim final. Luminosity, Splyce. This should be a battle.
EU versus NA, Zero versus Octane. You saw the piece right there. Definitely some mutual respect, but both players in their own right think they deserve to be the true MVP. Off the break, we watch Octane get gunned by Bance as LG and Splyce kick off in our best of 5.
And I think the single biggest story coming in for these two teams, LG look to still be the top team through their week in the stage. Splyce look very vulnerable. Can they get back to form?
Love that break from LG. They wind up stacking cluster grenades to force the players out of cover. They don't even win a single gunfight. It's 3 nade kills off the break that help LG get this 15-1 lead off the start.
Now the question is, can they push through for the key kills to get set up for the turbine spawn? Slack almost finishes one, which will give him a good opportunity. It's a split spawn for Splyce as two players on the map trying to fight back and get control of the left side of the minimap. So far, so good for Splyce, at least setting up for the next hardpoint.
Brilliant job by Bance right there on Catwalk with the submachine gun. The K-bars now of Zero, Mad Cat, and Jerd fill the kill feed as Splyce will get the scrap time and early control of turbine. But as I say that, the LG push already comes in.
Zero trying to deal with that LG push. Him and Bance on the kill feed. You got beat up a little bit. You don't want to give up 30 points on that first highly contested hard point, but again, you still have the spawns locked down and you're still making plays inside a turbine. LG, though, now with a pick on Saints, are going to try and break. Mad Cat the first to deal with it. Saints, a crucial two-piece, gets them through.
Just some shaky shots of a couple of players on Splyce. You saw from Jerd, then from Mad Cat. If you're facing LG, you need to have all 4 players on point. Cannot give up breaks like that, especially when they all just push from the same side. It wasn't like there was some dedicated pinch. They just muscled right through you.
And I was a little bit worried about Splyce coming into this one. I saw them scrimming FaZe in the back. They were playing Scorch Hardpoint. When I checked in on the game, it was 240 to 60. FaZe was giving them a beatdown. That can't be a morale builder coming into this.
And you just saw on your screen for a second, Saints, probably one of the most improved players here in Infinite Warfare you can make a case for.
Certainly.
The guy has been lights out, especially as of late, when he's now been in form like this LG team wanted when they originally kind of joined forces with him at the start of the year. It's been night and day.
Now LG, Jack trying to break, and also Octane playing close to streaks as he's got 4 in a row. Can he bait his teammates a little bit here, get through, but also pick up some crucial kills? But when Classic is burning like that, it was a 2-piece from Saints to get in the first. It's a 2-piece from Classic to break into Hangar.
And now look what that's caused. You've got Classic on a 5 streak at 7-3, Octane on a 5 streak at 7-3. These are those crucial next gunfights that can swing this door wide open for LG, as they can not only build their lead, but potentially have streaks to hold on to it.
There's one picked up, now looking for the bombardment. There it is, fully streaked out, 7 in a row. Octane streak still going as well,
yeah,
Jack.
Can we swap to Octane really quick, see how close he is to these streaks? Okay, so he's actually not even running a Scarab. He's going for 3 of the higher tiered streaks. If he gets one more gunfight win, he'll earn 2 for himself as well.
And I just don't know how you win a game if you give up 5 of those powerful aerial streaks to LG early in this game. We'll see if Octane is able to get him. First one he sees inside of drill control. Not able to finish the shots, but Slack will be leading the way in. Octane's turn now to peek the edge. You already invest the Trinity here as Classic gets the opening kill. There you go, 25 now off the bombardment. Just needs an assist.
Look at the combined streak right now in your feed. You have a player at 9, a player at 6. You had one player at 3 right there. Ridiculous stuff, the slaying power of LG showing in this map 1. In their hardpoint victories in Stage 2, Maven, they didn't just win when they played this game mode. They decimated their opponents. I believe they had a 90% win rate in hardpoint.
Yeah, the slaying differential for them, I know, was at the top as well. They were absolutely absurd in this game mode. You saw the 90% win rate. You're seeing right now why they can be so strong, but there's just over 10 seconds left in drill. Splyce are looking to pick this up. If you're Splyce right now, Jack, what can you do to fight back in this? I know you're not out of the game by any stretch of the imagination, but it still has seemed kind of like a lopsided affair just based on the slang.
First thing for me is when you get a setup you want to have, you cannot let LG break right off the start. You saw LG, when they finally got control of Hangar, they did a great job of making sure they singled out one side first, got the kills there, relieved that pressure, and then refocused their attention towards where the pinch would come from. They just always had the timings in their favor. They challenged the gunfights and won them because of the confidence they had. Splyce, they've been getting some of these rotations. We saw it at Hangar, we saw it obviously at Turbine, but when they get those setups, they let LG break on the first push.
And it seems like in a scenario like you just saw, when there's a trading back and forth and 7 out of 8 players end up dropping, the last man standing is always LG. Time and time again, when you're that last guy, that means you're getting those favorable close spawns for your teammates near the hard point. But again, I mean, it's still a 55-point game.
Yep. Well, Saints trying to surge on through. Another 2-piece from Zero. He's now begun to come to life at 14 and 10. Unfortunately, loses that gun battle versus Octane right there. 140 to 82. It's a 1-minute lead for LG. Again, though, Splyce will be the first team rotated towards the new hill.
Remember, it was a Saints 2-piece that broke into Turbine last time. Can he do it again? No. Jerd takes him off the map, and they want to invest some streaks here. Classic surging on forward. He connects with one with a bombardment, puts shots into 2 players as well. That should be all they need to get through.
No,
he's got no help here, though, is the problem. You know, you invest the streak, but the rest of your teammates drop.
You just use it too early on, right?
Yeah.
There was no follow-up to that. It was still... You get the idea of the streak, right? But the reason why you drop a bombardment is to force players out of their normal positions. There, they have no opportunity to follow up. Thankfully, they just do it straight up with their guns.
You don't need streaks, right?
Yeah.
Just do it with the gun skill like you did the first time through. They get the break. Still 20 seconds remaining here. You can see Splyce players starting to set up towards rocks and Hangar, but Octane wins one across the bridge, and FTL's through. My God.
LG outslaying now by 15 kills in this game. Double positive from Classic. He hasn't stopped so far. Look at Octane. 17 and 8 with 2 minutes already inside the hard point. I mean, this guy's just doing it all.
It's similar to what Formal's performance in Scorch in the last series. You know, plus 15, 2 minutes in the hard point. Some MVP caliber players putting up some insane stats early in this one. Saints hunting for kills right now. 3 in a row, 14 and 12. Scorchers now soaring in across mid-map to cut off some of these lanes that Splyce are hitting. Let's see what information he can get with that Scarab.
It doesn't matter what team you're a fan of, you recognize how good LG are as a lineup. Nearly the 2-piece there from Octane. Slack is there to clean up the weak players. There's the third as well. Everyone is a playmaker on LG, Maven. Again, they're now up by 100 seconds against our Stage 1 champions.
You know, and maybe you put too much stock in one weekend of gameplay, but I'll tell you what, if you asked me before Splyce's week how this series would go, I would have said 5 games.
Yeah.
You asked me after that weekend, I right before this we talked, I said this will be a 3-0 LG. I had all the confidence in the world they're going to come in 3-0.
And when they're outslayed by 20 kills, it looks just like that's what's going to happen. Octane getting challenged now by Mad Cat. Always seems like there's someone there for LG to swing the tide, as now they just realistically need one more break and a couple seconds of the hold. Here come more of those streaks. When you're outslaying by 20, typically you've got some tools to work with.
Look, can we get over to Slack real quick? Never mind, he just dropped. He had 6 in a row. I'm not sure if he picked up any more streaks for this roster, who really doesn't need any more at this point. But God, Classic and Octane combining to shut down 3 Splyce players. This one's done.
GG. I mean, this is not even close. LG are the best team in the world in Hardpoint for a reason, as they just mop the floor with Splyce right there. That was not an AM team. That was not, you know, a top 12 team. That is Splyce, who for a bit were regarded as the best team in competitive Call of Duty after their Stage 1 run, and they just got decimated.
And think, I mean, what stands out the most when you talk about these guys from Stage 1 playoffs, the final, when you talk about the final from Anaheim, how close the Hardpoints were. I mean, what was it? One was a 2-point game, one was a 1-point game, something like that at Anaheim. This is a 150-point game. It's just, again, LG had gotten to form and has stayed in form. I don't think that's true on the other side of this matchup.
It's incredible to see LG and their ability to just, when they swarm, always be looking in the right direction, always have the right target that they've got to focus. If there's ever a time where they're in a 3-on-3, it's like they just melt the same person and just go through as a team. You know, they get up, you know, 3-on-3 gunfight, they get out with 2 people alive, they wipe the rest of the team. How does that always happen? How many 3 pieces did we see on that map, whether it was top hanger, in middle, and then on the rotation of drill that just won them that game?
Well, again, when we talk about that effective trading back and forth and how more often than not, when there was 1 man left standing, 2 men left standing, it was always LG. It is those multi-kills to enter, whether it was Classic, whether it was Saints, just going in and opening with 2 kills, then dropping. That is perfect. You know that you have one of the best teams in the world at actually trading effectively like that. It was fantastic from LG.
Knew that game was done when we saw Octane get that first kill on Hanger. FTL jump past the second, turn and burn onto him to single-handedly hold the new Hardpoint. There's a look at the man on your screen. 250 to 116, that map won. Now we're going to S&D on Breakout. As again, LG, while they've looked great in Hardpoint, they've continued to improve as well in the other game modes.
Yeah, and this is where you may have favored Splyce if you're looking at statistics maybe leading into Stage 1 in Anaheim. It's how good Splyce was from Stage 1 play as out Search and Destroy. But they were abysmal just a few weeks back. They were not good, and somewhere they shine. Remember when they had, what was it, all 4 of their players, I think, were in the top 10 in overall Search and Destroy, KD back to playoffs?
Yep.
Where is that Splyce team? You desperately are in need of it now to tie up this series.
I think this next game mode is really where we saw Zero have his fall from grace from the Stage 1 playoffs into Stage 2. This man needs to turn it around and continue to. He did what he could on that map, but unfortunately, it was just 4 players of LG outclassing 4 players of Splyce. We know LG's strengths and respawns. You're not going to beat them in Hardpoint, if I'm just being completely honest. For me, these next 2 maps are must-wins if they want a chance in this series to force a Game 5.
It certainly is, and you'll be going to Breakout, followed by Precinct Uplink, which is going to be a difficult one as well. But I don't know. I have the feeling this is going to be a 3-0 for LG. I mean, if you're going to take one, though, this is where Splyce needs to do it.
We'll see if they can get that done. This is just our 3rd match of the day, still to come. FaZe versus Envy, where that's one that I don't even know how to begin to call. What Envy are we going to see? Are they still back in form from their playoff or from their weekend to get them into playoffs? How's FaZe looking with Gunless? Is there a S&D still untouchable? I can't even wait.
Well, it's a testament to how a weekend can certainly shift your image of a team. I mean, Splyce, they obviously drop in value for a lot of people. Envy, you go in not even thinking they've got a chance at top 2 last week. They squeeze it out, and we are definitely looking forward to that final series of the night. But into the game 2 on Breakout. Offense first now for Luminosity. Classic, your bomb carrier, and the pressure mounting towards the B site.
Pressure mounting indeed. We've seen teams so far today favor this site for sure, especially when the defensive squad just gives it up like this. You might as well. They're going to get the bomb down. They've got trophies. They've got nothing to worry about. They've got a player watching their flank. This is okay. This is as easy as it gets for LG.
You saw vision for Jerd there up spiral. Now Zero, if he can get a pick here with this snipe, maybe provides an opening for the team to push through. No one peeking yet, though, for LG. Zero has to push in. There's under 30 seconds on the clock. They have to make a play. The pistol can be very deadly at close range. Can he win it? Yes, he can. 2 kills now to Splyce. Answering back is Saints. Octane now. Lone man up. The clock with him. 15 seconds here to go. One pushing him. He spotted him. Shots a little bit shaky. Oh. Zero takes off his head. Zero racing back to bomb, and he has got it.
Got it in time. Right there you see Octane so confident to challenge that gunfight. If I'm being completely honest, he didn't need to. He could have hid behind that bulldozer, forced the player to run at him, and there just wouldn't have not been enough time.
Absolutely agree with you, but, you know, he kind of gets the peeker's advantage there, and it's, you know, when you're maybe the best player in the world, you think that's an easy kill, but you're going against Zero. It's great to see that 1v1 come down to it after you heard them kind of talking about each other in that video before the series.
They're the two of the better players in the game for a reason, both of them leading their teams at 2 kills right now. We're going to follow Zero into the next round of that clutch. As you can see the rest of his teammates flying on up. They're baiting for him as Zero's watching over to get some kills.
Jerd should have a kill. Jerd maybe with a second one. Mad Cat there to finish it. That tandem breaking through. One left. It's Octane yet again. The rest of LG has disappeared.
And that's a Zero versus Octane battle. I can watch this all damn day as he'll keep challenging both of these guys. They want this is like an ISO in basketball where you clear the court and just let the 2 players go at it. Both of them want to get this kill onto their respective opponent.
Well, Octane, 30 seconds, 4 players.
Look at him.
He's put like 15 bullets, I think, into Zero at this point.
And nobody else is coming nearby. They just want this one-on-one. Look, all he wants to do is kill Zero. That's it.
I love that. You know, you heard what Octane said in the video. When you ask who the MVP was at the end of this year, I don't want a conversation. The only name I want on people's lips, Octane.
The rest of the team did not even move. Yes, they were just defending the bomb. You could make all sorts of things up, but no, they knew that that was the one-on-one. They wanted to see it happen.
Oh, with that kill, he moves a little bit closer to the camo. But the opening 2 rounds do go to Splyce. Zero and Jerd combined for 6 and 2 here at the early rounds. Last time they pushed towards B, they were able to get a free plant. No pressure really no presence from Splyce really around the B site.
Octane? Can we see Octane very quickly? So look at how Octane uses this cover to watch the flank. Lesser players would be jumping in this position, trying to peek. No, just hold the angle.
I don't even know if a lesser player. We see top players do that all the time too. Zero with the snipe, slacked, gunned by Bance. Octane about to be last alive again, but no, Saints actually finds 2 kills. Nice little bait and switch there. Saints looking for the ace. What the heck? What the hell is that?
I like the multi-kill right there from Saints. As he cuts everybody down. There's the final one we got on the kill cam, but Octane softened up the 3rd and Saints handle the rest.
Incredible stuff from Saints there to take out everybody on Splyce.
Yep.
Luminosity gets their first round now on the board.
And look what that's first reactive armor. I mean,
yeah.
He went from having no progress on it to now being 65% of the way.
If you're going to pick 2 kills that are 2 players that are actually getting kills for you right now, you want it to be Saints and Octane. You're reactive and camo players. And they're the only ones with kills.
Saints just watching this cross. He's going to feed his team information. Bance, you can see on your minimap that number 7, trying to pick up the flank as well as the outer wall run. This should be the first key engagement that goes down. As a bomb will be planted. Both teams just giving up the site and playing for a retake.
Well, Jerd, I was gonna say Octane sees him cross. Octane somehow gets the kill on him there as he slides through.
I think there was an assist.
It must have been, because it didn't seem like he had much of a window. Bance in a 1v3, nothing he could do to try and take that.
And look, I mean, look at Saints. He's gonna wind up earning a streak. The man is remaining consistent. For people that tuned in and began following competitive Call of Duty in the last couple of years and always heard so much about Saints and never really got to see exactly how dominant he once was, you're starting to now understand why the casters as well as the rest of the community held him to such a high standard when he maybe wasn't putting up the most consistent numbers.
I've talked to Scump about this team. Scump said Saints is their best player without question. There are a lot of players that hold him in very high regard. It's a scary thing when you've got 2 players on one team that are considered the best at what they do. One with the sub, one with the AR. That pairing has been fantastic.
LG 2-2. Will again inch up towards this B site. Will again go for the quick plant. Octane, yeah, you're not going to win that, my friend, no matter how good you are against an E-Rad.
So first blood for Vance. Classic has to hop off the bomb. Some nice shots into Zero to back him up. But he is not safe to try and plant right now. He knows he's got 2 players with vision of him. It'd be so tough to get away. Now they're going to hit the steps. Slacked, not able to get the first in the cross, but Saints still up for this team. Saints and Slack trying to get it done in a similar position. This is where Saints went off and completely took over. He's also 125 off the Trinity Rockets here. 1 versus 3 now for Saints. Can we get another heroic play out of him?
Got to commend Splyce on how they play the retake from this middle spiral. They send their camo player in with the rear guard who slides across to take that extra bullet point to that back shield to challenge the site. They then have a follow-up from that mid-spiral to go ahead and trade that kill. Saints, though, will just play his streaks on out as his clock ticks down.
I like this. Just keep this streak going into the next round. Go somewhere you're basically impossible to be killed unless they go on a 3-man hunt here for him. But you can see everyone is holding positions now for Splyce as they get another round on the board.
There we go. Easy as that. Smart play from Saints. Play those streaks on out. No reason to kind of suicide or try to make a hero play when you're already on, what, a 6th streak on this map. Now, how do things change up? How does LG fix their offensive play in future rounds? And now how does Splyce try something different to try to give themselves a 2-round advantage in this map?
Zero doing exactly what he talked about in that video. Teammates push up, he looks over him, tags it up in the back, Jerd entry kill, another first blood for him inside. Saints a little bit all over the place, does get 1 kill and the streaks is the big part.
Slacked, oh, if only he knew the information we did. Everyone hitting Octane. You've got to swarm the man with 3 if you want to take him down. Slack's left all by himself in quite the spot right here. He wouldn't even have seen him.
He's been tagged. He knows the next player is. He's chasing him. Bance trying to catch him. Sliding back out is Slacked. 1 versus 1.
Nope.
Oh, he didn't look to his right. Splyce, a 4th round. As they continue to look good here on Breakout and work to tie up this series at 1 apiece.
Here it is again from Bance's perspective. Just gets out of the sight line of Slack. Cut him down with some nice shots there from the Rad-5 bolts in that range. As now Splyce are beginning to take command of this game, and Maven, this is exactly what they have to do to have a chance in this series.
Certainly. I completely agree. Can Splyce beat LG? Absolutely. They have done it, and done it very recently. It was scary after that game 1 hardpoint, but here they go, up 2 rounds. 2 more needed now to take this game 2. On with Zero's POV, as he's going to play the back tank and cover that B site. I think he spots him and asks for some help. You see that number 5 and Mad Cat rotating across to the back hanger as well. Octane spots 2 and 1.
Oh, he's got him pinned. He's got him pinned. Now Bance will be able to back on up.
Scare about for the side of LG. Zero able to take that out and get back in the hangar. Coming up spiral is Bance. Nice job. A little bit of an opening there. He actually pops the camo. That gets burned.
Really?
Yes, he popped it for just a moment.
Catch that. That's huge. Mad Cat at least gets 1. Second to Saints. Not going to happen. The quick trade comes in. Octane was there for it as he rotated back through that grave side. As Splyce will give LG a chance to stay in this map.
Yeah, if we could check Bance early just to make sure my eyes didn't deceive me. But that could be big. I mean, you get the round win for LG. You now have the camo burned.
That's huge.
Could be absolutely huge, yeah.
LG have to make some sort of adjustment on defense right now.
Yep, Bance burned.
They have to make some sort of adjustment in towards showers. They've been getting smoked on that area of the map. They're not going to do it this time from Splyce, but yeah, look at how LG are changing things up. They're sending 3 players over. They're no longer having Slack stay back, and yeah, now they're going to take command. That's exactly what they had to do. This is what's worked. That's what worked for them back when they played in their regular stage matches. That's how it's done for LG.
Absolutely, man. And that's where you see, 2 strong players like that dominate. You just saw what the duo of Karma and Scump. They absolutely locked down showers. Now you're seeing a taste of that from LG.
I think that's an example of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
Octane watches middle. The other 3 hit inside showers. They win they will beat any trio in that engagement most times. And Octane's going to be able to stay alive middle. And now look at the payloads. You talked about the camo use earlier from Bance. How bad you wish you had that now in round 9.
You really do. I mean, he's having a hell of a game, 10-5, but he's not going to be seeing another camo. Saints.
And this is the adjustment now from Splyce. Instead of giving up the site, they 4-stack it.
Did he see the one flying close is the question.
Doesn't matter. Slack did.
Slack looking over him. He saw one spot at the close corner, knows he had back on medical bay. Yeah, take this challenge. Nice gunfight win for Saints. Bance now left by his lonesome. Gives himself a chance, though, as the Scarab picks up a kill. Can't win the one-on-one in medical bay. Things falling apart. A 4-2 lead for Splyce has evaporated in 3 rounds.
Here's your final kill cam again from Octane. Hits his close range shots at the end before, and you see his teammate there with the X-ray through Codcaster. Ready to help out. What a change of events it's now been, as Splyce were looking quite good to take this map, but now it's LG in the lead, up 5-4.
Those 4-on-4 fights like you get there, that's exactly what LG hopes for. So now you have Saints with reactive. Octane has the camo.
Still has that streak.
Yeah, and right, he still has the rocket to work with. Saints just shoulder peeking here by the central rooftop. Checking to see if anyone pushes through his back spiral. Got a very patient
Okay,
round
classic.
here.
They're just trying to bait out the attention to try to get Vance in a position where he can make a play. That's not going to work. Jared at least does make this an even round, but the reactive armor from Saints, not necessarily needed, but either way will help use it to secure that one. And yeah, I mean, that should be it. Splyce just really begin to fall apart in this one since Mad Cat left all by himself.
Less Mad Cat.
He knows he's here. What are you doing?
In a 1v1, but dropped 4 rounds in a row for Luminosity. Give them a 2-0 edge in this series. LG looking so strong.
It's just rough. This team, Splyce, they needed that map. I mean, you wind up now losing that search and destroy. Back in stage 1, obviously there's been some changes, but Scorched Hardpoint was their best. It's no longer one that's on their side.
It's going to be Precinct then for the Uplink. And Jack, do you give Splyce a chance to fight back in this? Is a reverse sweep possible in this series?
No. This series is done, in my opinion.
Well, we'll see if they have what it takes.
I hope I'm wrong so someone can edit this and maybe I can get roasted by the Splyce Twitter, but no. This is done.
You thought they had that game too, but Splyce not able to close out the final couple of rounds. LG in control of this best of 5. Octane and crew continue to look dominant. But I'll tell you what, this MVP matchup, 0 versus Octane, it isn't over yet. Can Splyce do the unthinkable with a reverse sweep? We'll find out after this quick break.
Coming down to the wire. LG just a couple seconds away. Luminosity will do it.
Entering the playoffs as like kind of the favorite or whatever, just kind of having our target on our back, I like it, but at the same time I don't. I feel like when we play against teams, they're obviously going to be trying like a lot harder to shut us down just because we're considered like the best, and I don't want it to get to our team's head. With Splyce, we're cool with them, but obviously we want to beat them and take them down.
I feel like the play styles, everyone has like a similar role. Jared, Dylan and Mad Cat, which matches up with them 3, and then you got myself versus Octane. The 2 MV4 battles. we just clash heads on the playstyle, which makes it like seem like a hectic, really fun matchup.
Could these teams be more evenly matched? I mean, a map that is pretty high scoring generally for Uplink. It's just a 3-2 game. Nobody wants to break.
We play them in 2 grand finals. You know, they got to play their way to get there, and we have to play our way to get there. So I think the early matchup is definitely going to determine possibly who's in grand finals. I think it's going to be a good matchup.
I don't feel like anyone's got one up on my team. It's just who comes out better on the day.
Win the game in the most dramatic fashion.
Tell you what, we spoke about some of those thrilling hard points earlier in this broadcast, and you saw there the final moments of 2 of them from the grand final. Those close games you also heard us talk about, we haven't really had that yet, no. At least not in the game 1. We'll see about the Uplink.
No, and it's sad to say, but this Splyce team, if this is how they play throughout the weekend, if they get 3-0'd here, and they drop to that loser's bracket where they'd have to face who? The loser of FaZe Envy?
Not an easy matchup either. I mean, well, there are no easy matchups.
No,
Top 8.
but when you kind of look at things on paper, I mean, we could have our Stage 1 champion Splyce with a very early exit during the Stage 2 playoffs, but they're not there yet. They still have a chance. And it's got to start right now, like on Precinct.
One of the things that defines champions is resilience, right? Backs up against the wall, can they fight back? Well, you've got that wall right now. You need to step it up here on Precinct Uplink. So far, really just a fight for power here of the statue and lobby control. No action with the drone yet, but now Classic has gotten the edge, well, for a moment. Until Bant's able to take him out.
Oh, look at the nade, too. So nice. Perfect. Slack takes control, and now the drone will be moved out. And already look at the difference, right? Already look at the difference from like the pace that LG like to play at in Uplink versus the likes of what we saw with Enigma 6 and E United earlier. They take the drone, they throw it down, they play for kills, then they focus on the objective. They want to make sure when they move forward, they are fully confident in their ability to get a score. They're not just playing for a scrappy one. They're playing to not only get a score, but take control of your base.
To lock you down and punish you.
Yes. Oh gosh, this gunfight.
Yeah, can someone, thank you, stop shooting at this point.
Takes a fist.
Let's switch into a boxing match.
So here's an example, right? They get all the kills they want. Now they'll push forward the drone. They'll have to reset back towards lobby, but they're more focused about getting control. Look, they keep Saints there to just wreak havoc.
Slack gets a lot of shots into multiple players, but doesn't get the kill before they get drone out. Counterattack for Splyce is on. 2-point dunk goes through. Lead to Splyce.
And honestly, right there, if you're wondering, why was Splyce able to do that? They just assumed LG were going to go for a dunk. So they triple overextended into lobby to play the reset. But because LG just went for a 1, it actually works out in Splyce's favor.
And that, we were talking during the United match. We saw Pristini, RCs do it. They get that kill on the drone carrier right before he got around the edge. Slack had a chance, right? He got a couple shots into him. He gets that kill. That's not a score. That slows down the counter, but he wasn't able to finish it. Clutch kills like that, a lot of the times the difference between scoring and not. Bance, Mad Cat,
all dead.
Taking out everybody on LG. 4 down, drone already up the mid-street. This will be another dunk as they spawn back ticket. Are they ready to deal with it? Woo! The answer is yes. Flush it on through. 4 unanswered now for Splyce.
Wow, that kill from Bance right there as he just shredded Octane into 2.
And they're certainly going to need that, but it's like as the rest of the team now steps up, you see Zero having a slow start. Does it matter in this case? Since you're up 4-1, it sure as hell does not. But you don't expect him to have a game like that for too long.
Well, LG again get a few kills. They have 1 player to beat. Jerd now dead. This will be a dunk unless there's a body block. Nope, not going to happen. So that right there for players at home who have been practicing Uplink, that is what you need to do now when going for a score. No longer just assume you're going to float on through. Hit the melee as you're going into the portal as well. You just pointed out, Maven, 12-6 is Classic on a 5 streak.
Big for multiple wall. I was going to say big because you can get streaks, and also with Classic running camo here in Uplink. Huge that he has a strong game. Give himself a chance to make a 2-point play. 2 down now, right now for LG. Octane in a power position in this top ticket window. Now he has to rotate back to defense. Is anyone going to be there for the interception? No. 1 point goes through for Splyce.
Clean throw right there. Nicely done from Splyce. That's 1 point for Bance now on the board. He's leading his team at 10-8. Some shaky shots there from Zero as Classic punishes. LG, they want this dunk right now. Going into the half for them at 5-5, especially with a slow start from Octane. And a couple misplays on how they moved that drone forward would definitely be, I think, an okay scenario.
Look at Classic.
Wow.
Everybody else right now. Classic has 16 kills. Nobody else is close. that puts in perspective how wild, what was it, Beezy yesterday during the LCQ, how crazy his performance was. He earned camo by halftime. I think he had 25 kills, something like that. Unreal.
He was on pace for 50 in Uplink. What?
Yeah, unfortunately. They did not end up qualifying, but the action right now is on the Stage 2 playoffs. LG looking to close this out 3-0. Unless Splyce can get something done, but they have several players down. That's the cue for Slack to get drone in hand. The kill feed, it's just all blue all the time.
You know what it is? It's like when LG get the number advantage like this, and now this is already a great sign from this team. They slowed down the dunk for a second so they can get a presence back towards lobby. Earlier, they just threw in the score, gave up lobby control, which let Splyce go for that counterattack. Even those couple of seconds will give them a shot to try to stop this drone. No, but Mad Cat gets there.
Apparently, it doesn't matter how you play it. LG is going to give up. So 4 of the 7 points for Splyce have been on counter plays.
Yep.
One time, like you said, LG tried to continue to make plays, get the dunk through. A quick hit from Splyce gets the dunk in. This time, they tried to delay it, but they still win all the gunfights inside and outside the lobby. Again, a quick hit up the mid-street and a dunk goes through. If anything, I mean, Splyce have a lead right now because they're just taking advantage of those quick hit situations when they can.
All right, Splyce showing some life here in game 3. This is the close map we've wanted to have. As finally it's brought on up. A look at LG, who finally find themselves down in a map where they look like things aren't necessarily going their way to this point. Classic again, 18-12. Solid start from him.
I want a series, man. I want Splyce to push this to distance. Can they do it? They've got 5 minutes to hold on to this lead.
It goes to show how crazy this map is, and I'm sorry to cut you off, maybe, but look at the slang for LG, and it's 7-7.
Yeah.
Again, it's because those 4 points have come off of kind of what?
Just quick hit counterattacks.
Yeah, counterattacks. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
It's like, you know, you see that happen in some, I don't know, something like soccer, right? You see a shot go on for one team, there's a quick relay out, and you get a score in 10 seconds.
Nice throw.
That's exactly what Splyce has been able to do, and as they hit that nice toss, it will put them back in front after giving up an early dunk here in the second half. Another opportunity for points. Classic, drone in hand. Saints leading the way. 1-pointer through, back and forth we go. It is a high-scoring game here.
Did you catch what just happened right there? Jerd popped his FTL jump to try to get in position to stop that throw from going in time. Didn't actually make it, so no FTL jump available now for Splyce. And I have to commend Splyce because they've been doing a great job of hitting these ones so far this map.
What are they actually getting outslaved by right now? You have a couple players, -7 for Jerd, -6 for Zero, -2 for Mad Cat. Only player positive is Bance, and you're still holding this lead. And taking advantage of scoring opportunities when you can. Key to success on Uplink. Another 1-pointer in.
I mean, I haven't been worried about them hitting a 1 once in this map. Can't say the same about many teams from what we've seen in the last couple days of play.
Yeah, we had some real sloppy ones in week 4 if memory serves.
Throw back to Optic and Envy on that map and game book combination.
Grenade gonna back up Saints, but he's got Slack here to force the issue.
Oh, I like that. Slassic?
Slassic.
Is that their duo name?
I guess, man. My brain is a strange, awful, ugly, and dark place.
Trust me. I've heard what you say when the cameras aren't on. As now the drone moves forward. This should be a dunk. There it is. Slack gets Octane to basically bait himself out, soak some shots as he turns that corner. But this has been LG the whole map. Thankfully, they finally have lobby control, so there won't be a counterattack instantly.
Under 3 to go. Camo up for Classic.
Classic can do no wrong right now.
And he was their best player in their week, right? He was incredible for them. Granted, everybody kind of went off. They dominated, but Classic was spectacular. Camo now popped, trying to stay alive. In through mid, quarter of it left. Dunk home, beat down through, and he's still up. And he finished. What the hell was that?
That player was weak.
And
if he wasn't, then I'm done casting because I've seen it all.
Mad Cat just a sliver away from picking up that overdrive. That sliver will have to wait another
moment. Talk about a
sliver. He's off respawn.
Look at Bance.
Yeah.
His sliver from Camo.
That's true. But you got a lot of key payloads coming up for this Splyce team. Both those players will fall, though. Have to continue trying to fight for the payloads. Slack now, drone down as he pushes up towards Cherry Blossom in mid-street. You see on X-Ray, a couple to deal with. High, Mad Cat doesn't stand a chance. One back alley, almost catches him with that Scarab out. But that gives some information to Classic. Now he's got to make a decision. Ooh. As 2 teammates drop, drone down, catches his flank. Is anyone here to help him? Does Classic need help is the question.
Yeah, right, or is he a one-man army at the moment? Classic, though, with that 2-piece, buys his team enough time to be able to fight back for this drone. And look, they keep it controlled near this side of the map. They're playing Cherry Blossom. They're avoiding lobby. And all they do is grab the drone, put it right back down. For players at home, it's 15 seconds for that drone to reset back to that main portal in that middle lobby. LG playing completely around that. Look, every time they get a couple kills, they just inch a couple more feet forward. At this point, I think they're just going to run it in the back alley.
And who's the catalyst there again? Classic.
And a 1.
2 kills and an assist, 1 point away. Classic, 29 and 20, 4 points to go as well. And 60 seconds left, Jay.
And I like that. How do you stop counterattacks? Don't even let Splyce get near the drone. They know they're outslaying by 14 kills on this map. So instead of them giving them a chance, oh, that Scarab, it'll slow him down for a second. Can he get the dunk in time? Yes, there is. Still a chance for Bance and crew in this game.
Mad Cat also has that overdrive to work with. He's coming off a respawn right now. Will he be the key player here to give Splyce the edge? Possibly push this to an overtime. As Bance drops, it's Classic with another 2-piece. Once again, the catalyst to move this forward. Overdrive pop for Octane. Can't get the 1-point toss out. Is Jerd going big on defense, but who's still here? Classic.
All right, here we go, Splyce, your last chance in this series. 25 seconds left.
Reset.
The drone in the hands of Mad Cat, and look at the payload this man has. Splyce can still do this.
He needs help, though. The overdrive needs someone maybe to be a meat shield for him.
What?
He gets into construction. All you have to do is shoot through the doorway. It's easy pickings for Classic yet again, but the 1-point toss, it's up.
Oh!
It's too far, does not go through. No one left to fight. The reset is there. It's a hot 3-0 from LG.
Heartbreaking ending there for Splyce fans, as you thought they had it. A questionable overdrive, but the throw, such a tough angle. You never really see that one. But Zero just a little bit over the portal as they lose that one 13-12.
And how devastating, you know, you mentioned at some point during that game, I've never been worried about them missing 1-point throws, and it all comes down to a very difficult one. But Classic won that game for LG.
Yep.
It was just 2 and 3 pieces over and over and over again, whether it was on defense, whether it was towards lobby to get control of drone, whether it was, you know, kind of sparking that attack as they got out to mid-street. Every time you looked at the kill feed, Classic, just popping up over and over again with those multi-kills.
For everyone who's a fan of a team here that's not LG, that's scary for you, because guess what? LG have not slowed down. Every single player still in their peak form. LG, definitely the team to beat in this winner's bracket side.
And I think this also justifies all the concerns from the analysis about Splyce. You know, they were taking some flack saying, oh, it's 1 week of gameplay. Well, that 3-0, I think, serves a little bit of justice there. But we've got Octane, your MVP so far in IW on stage.
Thanks, Maeve. Luminosity takes out Splyce there 3-0. You guys haven't played in a very long time. What has the prep been like coming up into the Stage 2 playoffs?
It's been basically just maintaining our form from Stage 1 in Anaheim. You know, same practice regimen, same schedule. You know, we're winning there, coming close to winning at Stage 1, so I didn't switch up anything really.
And then I know you guys have some games against Splyce in the past, you know, some wins, losses. Coming into this series, you know, is there anything you saw from them their week during Stage 2 that you knew you could take advantage of in this match?
I don't know what it was, what changed with them, but they seemed to be not necessarily lesser of a team, but they weren't much of a matchup compared to those 2 events. So we were a little bit more confident coming in. Happily, we started off pretty strong because that's usually our issue coming into events. We'll lose like the first series in pool play or something like that. But coming out for a big one here is huge.
And then the only game mode that was really close at the beginning was the Uplink. You guys kind of falter a little bit in the first half. What went wrong for you guys? How were you guys able to turn it around?
Their ball movement was really good. They were catching us out of place. You know, they took it wide haul for dunks like 3 or 4 times on the first side. So just readjusting mid-map, Nick and, you know, all of us really noticed it, which was huge. It was a great thing about our team. So you just picked it up after halftime and ended up bringing out the W.
Yeah, and you mentioned Classic. You know, during your group play week in Stage 2, he was phenomenal. He was great here in this series. You know, what does he provide for this team that a lot of people may not realize?
He's going to say it himself. He does all the dirty work, right? You know, he had a slow first 2 maps, and then he just exploded in map 3. So, you know, that's what to expect from him when all of us are underperforming or aren't up to par. You know, he just kicks in full gear and takes over.
Well, Luminosity looked dominant there against Splyce with a 3-0 win. Let's go to Ben and the boys on the desk to hear more about the game.
Thank you very much, Matt. As you heard there from Octane, Classic, a key component of that victory. Not sure about the slow map 1, though. Classic was absolutely gunning in that first Hardpoint, played extremely well. And interesting as well moment to hear from Octane when he says, yeah, we're not quite sure really what happened to Splyce. We were used to close games, and all of a sudden they seem to have made some adjustments, and, well, the games clearly aren't as close as they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, for them, they weren't obviously in the same group as them, so they didn't actually feel, you know, the difference of Splyce. So they could only judge what they could see, obviously, in that group. All Luminosity have ever known is obviously very strong games against them. Anaheim, Stage 1 playoffs. And going into this, yes, they'll have probably thought, actually, you know, their group wasn't as strong for them. But I'm sure LG just went in with the same full force, just the same confidence, and, you know, it really showed in that 3-0 victory. Got a bit
bit close towards the edge, but LG definitely the better team.
Definitely agree with you there. Of course, map number 1, Hardpoint, 250 to 116 in favor of LG. That is the biggest blowout score of the day so far, but as I mentioned, Mark, this was very much the Classic and the Octane show.
Yeah, I mean, you could just tell Classic and Octane, every time they needed them, they came through, whether it was breaking Splyce setups or just holding their own. I mean, these guys were absolute beasts, as you can see right here, both double positive. Just seemed, again, Splyce, they would sort of get into a bit of a rhythm, and then Luminosity, they were just able to break it, you know. Classic and Octane both had full streaks at one point. That's just what you want to see from these guys. I mean, they're just so darn good. They're scary.
Yeah, Classic 27 kills, 2.08 KD. Yeah, starting slow, apparently, according to Octane. I'm scared to see what starting fast would be then for Classic. But in terms of LG, what makes them so good at Hardpoint, TBA? It seems just kind of accelerating and snowballing the leads.
I think one thing that other teams in the Pro League kind of struggle with is pushing out too far in Hardpoints and getting caught out and getting punished, and that's how they get broken a lot of times. But LG is a different story. They push out and they get multiple kills in a row. Yep. On that Hangar Hill, for example, you can see just how far. Saints is up towards the middle map, towards that bridge hardpoint. They have put Cave completely pushed out. Splyce was not even getting close to a chance of breaking spawns, let alone breaking the hardpoint. And the fact is, LG team shooting, just so much more coordinated than every other team in the game in Hardpoint. They're always together, always making each other weak. I wish there was like some sort of thing we could calculate of how many gunfights are team shotted on this team. Yeah. It seems like it's insane. Right. Splyce just never had a chance.
Yeah, they were just getting mowed down before they even had any chance of trying to break a hill or rotate, that's for sure. Moving into the search and destroy, it started off well with Momo for Splyce. Of course, they had that early 4-2 lead, but I mean, they threw it away towards the end.
Yeah, and this is where we could, sometimes maybe see Splyce steal something from LG would be, their S&D. We always say Luminosity, they're so strong at their respawns. And Splyce started really, really strong. They started 2-0 up, then it was 2-2, then they got another 2-0 lead over it, so it was 4-2 in essence. And then something just clicked with Luminosity. I think, again, it's what Teep said in the hardpoint is like team shooting. I think it's not necessarily team shooting, but just the fact they're pushing as a team. They're just so in sync. They kind of really started to work out what Splyce's game plan was and just kind of pinpoint the holes and the flaws in Splyce's game point. And I've got a question, I'm sure we'll bring it up, is the payload usage from Splyce, of course.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Of course, Bance uses his camo, completely burns it. You can see what he was trying to do, but even so, Merc.
Yeah, he uses it in round number 7. That's really the round that changes it. I mean, he had a great game, 11-7, really the standout player on Splyce. And in that round, 7, he pops it when you don't need to. Go down, or you're still up 4-3 if you lose that round. You use that payload to win the next one. Then you put your team at 5-3, or you close out the game. There's just no need to use it in sort of a 3v3 skirmish. Start the round with it. You don't enter, a setup with it.
Right.
You'll be able to get first blood. It just seems like, I don't know if he was just a panic. I don't know.
It seems that he kind of got shot. He was like, I'm going to stay alive, and then ultimately just ended up dying. Yeah. But in terms of that map as a whole, and talking maybe a little bit of strategy, post-plant B so far today has not been good at all.
Kind of a mess, and I'm not really sure why. Spiral, the little steps going up towards that beast bomb site it's kind of hard to watch, don't get me wrong, because teams can slide across into that med bay sort of area. But overall, I feel like if they could just watch that better, maybe tag that player up, not just let him slide over for free. That bomb planter gets caught out every single time. And I loved how LG sort of adapted throughout that game. And I think that's why they're able to get several rounds in a row. They shifted over to a more heavy middle map set up towards that loading dock and over towards showers. And that's when someone like Classic and Octane can just sort of look over Classic pushing up towards middle map. That's when they started to dominate there.
LG, of course, 2-0 up in the series at this point. We then go over to map number 3, the Uplink, and this one was a nail-biter, that's for sure. Final score 13-12 in favor of LG. And if there's one thing that we really got to see there, Merc, was Splyce's counterplay was so good.
Yeah, and you can just tell right away, this is an example of it. As soon as Luminosity was able to score, all 4 of the players on Splyce just said, see you later, we're giving up our base. They go for drone control, and they take it down this hallway. Here's another example of it to go up 7-5 at the half. A great job for them, and that's what you want to see from these guys. They're making quick decisions, decisive decisions, but in the end, Luminosity and their slaying was just too strong.
And on the flip side, of course, in terms of LG, one thing that they did so well, the final 2 minutes or so, we saw them waste time and just slay, and that has to be such a nuisance to play against.
And I love the interview from Octane there. On the side of LG, they realized that Splyce's drone movement was so good in getting them to over-rotate to certain sides of the map. So they said, okay, let's just throw it down gas for about a minute and a half, and we don't have to worry about drone position. You just send Classic on some flanks through that Whitehall over towards that street. They just picked up so many kills over and over again, and Splyce just could never really get their hands on the drone. Whenever Splyce got the drone, they did a great job at scoring. LG countered that finally in that late second half to get that win.
And of course mentioning as well the final moments there. Zero not able to get that 1 point play.
It's a tough one.
I was going to say.
I highly doubt they even practiced that one. That one was a very tough angle. But if you look at this, the big story to me is just a ±0. Woo. That's your best one, and a -2 of 0.96. I understand sling's not everything, but it's pretty important against a team like Luminosity. And again, we've touched a lot on Zero. I think Vance had a pretty solid series, but you know, Mad Cat, Jerd, where are those guys? Mad Cat had a great week when he was here. It was probably their best performer, and again, you just need more from the team. We talk about Zero a lot. Yes, is he struggling? Is he maybe not in the MVP form? Sure, but where are those other guys to step up?
Right, it's four players on the team, not just one, that's for sure. For Splyce, our Stage 1 champions, they now fall into losers bracket round number 1. For LG, of course, a 3-0 victory is going to give them a ton of confidence as they progress forward through the bracket. Moving forward, though, we had our score streak prediction game throughout that last series. Of course, you can play the score streak prediction game exclusively at mlg.tv/COD. Question number 1 we asked was, which Luminosity player will have more kills in game 1? Only 12% had faith in Classic, but he finished with 27. That will be a tie. 1%, that will be a tie. Octane, 87%. I feel like you put your money on Octane there.
It was a Scorch, though.
True.
Scorch, I don't know. Classic's been arguably their second best player. I would say definitely their second best player throughout the year. It is a Scorch, but Octane, he's a god. I get it. Don't get me wrong.
87%.
I get it.
We're like, yeah, dude, Octane. I'm voting for Octane. Like, easy money. Easy streak. But they would have, of course, been wrong. Moving forward, in map number 2, we asked, will any player on Splyce finish with 10 or more kills? 36% of you said yes. Vance, of course, finished with 11. 64% said no. So you could probably see a little bit of the pessimism there, Phil. People not really feeling too confident in Splyce.
Yeah, and just really how strong LG have been. I mean, S&D is probably, it's not a respawn. I will say, obviously, Vance has been phenomenal in S&D. A lot of people kind of look towards Zero. For me, when I think S&D and Splyce, I do look at Vance. But I don't know whether I would have said he would have got double digits on that one.
Fair enough. And then, of course, in map number 3, we asked, what will be the first scoring play in game 3? 73% of you said throw. And that was, of course, correct. 27% said dunk. I feel like throws the easier money.
Especially on Precinct, you just see so many times where just off the initial start, you just get all 4 dead, you throw on 1, and you start that spawn trap. So good call, people. You smart.
You guys smart. Of course, you can play the score sheet prediction game at mlg.tv/COD, but we'll take a look at our leaderboard now and see the highest streak. I believe it's going to be 6. There's going to be mine_edit. So congratulations to him or her. 6th streak, the highest on the day. We'll see if anyone can break the 13 streak record. And as I said, you can play the score streak prediction game exclusively at mlg.tv/COD, where you have your up-to-date event statistics. There's some featured player POVs, as well as that fantastic source quality. But moving forward, we now have one final game of the day. It's a good one as well. Envious versus FaZe. Feel like, Teep, this is the one game where you may look at the schedule and say, all right, this could realistically go to a game 5.
Oh, 100%. Definitely the toughest game to call for me today, and probably all of us here. We don't know which form we're going to get from Envious. FaZe's Search and Destroy looks so darn good with Gunless. Man, it's really tough to call. Hardpoint's leaning towards Envy. Search and Destroy leaning towards FaZe.
I mean, you mentioned Gunless, of course, the new addition to this FaZe clan squad. Has he impressed you as much as you expected, Merc?
No, I don't think he did, but I think he made the players around him better. You saw Attach and Enable had a very good week when they were here. And again, you can see right here these stats, what we were talking about, S&D at 85%. Uplink was 50-50, and I think that's the game mode that we're going to be looking at this series. Who's going to win that Uplink? I think that's really sort of going to decide who takes it.
And on the flip side, in terms of Team Envious, when we talk about them, this is a team who, realistically, let's be honest, when it came to week 4, Phil, not a lot of us kind of said, yeah, I feel comfortable saying they're going to make it to playoffs, but boy, oh boy, did they play well.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say I didn't think they were making it here, but, they came in, and you got to remember this was only a week ago. This was, FaZe 3-4 weeks ago, whatever it was. Their hardpoint was fantastic. They only lost that one, obviously, against Optic Gaming. The very last one they played. S&D, you can see what I can see, 28%.
Yeah.
The only positive to take from that is, I think it was 0% on day 1. They got better throughout the weekend, but still.
It's a good positive to try and think about.
It's not good enough, especially in the likes of a playoff bracket as strong as this.
Yeah, but when you saw Envy sort of thrive and succeed, it was the sort of SMG duo. Even last year, it was John and Apathy. They played extremely well. Well, that duo is going to be even more important here because guess what? You have Gunless, you have Attach, who had a great weekend. You have Zuma, a lot of SMG presence, on the side of FaZe, and then you have that Enable versus Slasher battle. And Slasher was an absolute beast in their week. So I think those are sort of the two keys in coming into this game.
really think this could be a potential bloodbath. Of course, we'll take a look at the maps once again, but to reiterate, this is going to be the same maps. It is still winners bracket round number 1. Teep, at a quick glance there, which way are you going?
Oh, very, very tough overall. I think I'm going to go FaZe taking the first 2 maps, Envy taking Link, Envy taking Retaliation. FaZe map 5.
FaZe map 5. Throwback search and destroy. Of
I
course.
switched my prediction from earlier because of the map.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll allow it.
Maps. Give me.
I'll allow it. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to make more educated predictions based off the maps. That's for sure. But we still have, of course, one more match to come here at the Stage 2 playoffs of the Call of Duty Global Pro League presented by PlayStation 4. United, Uptick Gaming, and Luminosity, all with round 1 wins and progressing through to round 2. Up next, final game of the day. It's Envy taking on FaZe Clan.